Do I have to pick someone for the Lakers?
I'm glad you do because I have no idea who I would pick. I'm going to scramble while you start talking.
So I like stared at their depth chart for forever, and I didn't even know who to pick. I think this is the state of their team. I think you could make a case for Melo. I'm not going to, but I think you could make a case for Melo because he is still like, he's clearly not a star and he's going to hurt you on defense, but the lineups they have him in this year, where there are times where he's basically the center, even if he's not actually the center. And then he's quietly just playing way more minutes than he should, but also shooting way better than you would think he would on threes and averaging more points than he would. Just, I respect that when you're now in your late 30s and you're still able to get outside buckets with any semblance of a fit. I don't care how they're coming. And there's still shots he takes where it's like, oh, this is too much Melo. That's not Melo's fault anymore. There's too much Melo because the Lakers built their roster. Their offseason was, I don't know what it was a disaster, and we don't need to belabor it. I went with Austin Reaves.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's, unless you really believe in sort of the, Malik Monk has come on this year. I don't think that makes him underrated. I firmly believe that he probably could have gotten more than minimum money elsewhere, or maybe he couldn't have. I thought about this too, because when he signed with the Lakers, they had given Kendrick Nunn more money at the time. So if you want to say he's the pick here, that's fine. If you want to say it's Talen Horton-Tucker, who's come on of late, I kind of get that. I just feel like he should be way better defensively than he is. There are games where it actively looks like he's trying to help the other team extend their lead when he's on defense. So I went with Austin Reaves just because I guess the out of nowhere element here, but he's hit enough of his spot up triples to be a threat from out there. And he is basically the only Lakers guard that can or wing that consistently stays in front of anyone on defense. So to see him work there, and he's also like shooting 70+% between 4 and 14 feet and 73% at the rim. It's minimal volume. We're talking about a sub 50 shot sample size here so far. I don't care, just because he's been like very, like you watch him and it's like, this is someone who, even if LA was a little bit better, he might actually be in their rotation. I do not think that he is a substitute for Alex Caruso just because they're both Caucasian and were surprisingly good and came out of nowhere, I guess, for the Lakers. But he's been solid for them. And the effort he gives them on defense is just worlds better than what they're getting from so many other players who were supposed to figure in more prominently. I feel weird because I also feel like we could pick Malik Monk or Austin Reaves, and it could be a case of, well, they're overrated because they are getting a ton of attention since they do play for the Lakers. But amid a really shit-tastic season, I feel like he's one of the scant few silver linings that have emerged.
I think that's the right pick. That's the only real option here because it's the Lakers and it's hard for anyone to be underrated. But I think just within the context of the team, like they're playing LeBron at center and Reaves is constantly, like almost everybody else, guarding up a position. And so, and there's no backline help. So like he has to be super aggressive and he has to I swear this is anecdotal again, but he's had more than one recovery chase down block in the half court where he just gets beat and there's nobody behind him to protect the rim and he gets there and he pins it to the glass. Like he's still really, really competitive in a situation where like nobody else is trying, which is also a factor for being underrated. So I like that pick. I don't have anybody else even really close.
I'm also still amazed. I know I just said he's shooting, I think a little bit over 37% on spot up triples, but there are more teams I would expect that like kind of fall for his pump and drive game. And he's pretty good at the pump and drives, but it's also like, at the end of the day, it's Austin Reaves. Like, why don't you just let him take that shot? Like, why are we overreacting to a potential shot attempt from Austin Reaves? But I don't even mean to troll him. He's been one of the very few bright spots of their season.
Yeah, no doubt.